house, it's going down. Bringing all the pet keepers straight out of town. Reptile lovers, cats and all, watchers too. Tune in, y'all, we got the groove for you. Everyday keepers, that's how we roll. Sharing love and knowledge, soul to soul. Grab your leash or tank, let's take control. Everyday keepers, yeah, we break the mold.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to get through episode 39 of Everyday Keepers. You already know this is Don D with Uptown Exotics. Happy Sunday. Thank you for joining us today. I hope you're having an awesome day. It is another beautiful day here in Pennsylvania. It's like we're having our second summer in October. It's 80 degrees out here. I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying this. I could get used to it. And then watch next week. I'm gonna talk about how cold it is. You're gonna see me in like full sweatshirt and parka mode and everything. Is gonna be cold. It's gonna be cold because that's how Pennsylvania does their weather. Prophet said he's never moving back up here. It's too cold. I don't blame him. It is too cold. It is too cold. I get it. I get it. Um, you know what else I get? I'm getting old. And you want to know how I know I'm getting old? I was at a wedding yesterday. We started getting there around 3:30. By 9 p.m., I was ready for bed. I was ready for bed. I had enough, and then I was dreading the hour drive home. Um, but yeah, it was a great wedding. I had a lot of fun. Got to see a lot of old friends. Got to meet some new friends. Congratulations to my friends, Callie and James, on their wedding. And they've been together for years, and finally got married. It was an awesome wedding. Yes, round of applause. It was an awesome wedding. Great. It was at this event place called The Farm. Um, in about an hour north of me. It was pretty cool. I enjoyed it. Um, and yesterday, I did have a suit debacle. I was going to wear this blue suit that I have. It's a nice suit. It's like a royal blue. And after some thought, I decided not to wear it because I knew that everybody that I know really well would question why I wasn't wearing purple. So I decided to wear my purple suit. Got dressed, got the shirt on, got the tie tied and everything. Went to put my pants on. Now I haven't worn this suit in a little over a year, and the, the pants, the buttons didn't meet. They didn't meet. I got a little too much around the waistline, so I couldn't wear the suit, the purple suit. So I went back to the original blue suit, and as I called it, when I got there, everybody's like, "Why aren't you wearing purple? Why aren't you wearing purple?" So we're making up for not wearing purple today. Got keys on. That's right. That's right. So we're making up for it today. We're making up for it today. Later today, and I will change the shirt because I don't want to get it all dirty and everything, but later today I got to harvest some potatoes. Got to get out in this garden and get these potatoes. They're ready to go. I'm excited. I'm excited for the potatoes. They're red potatoes. They're the good, yummy ones too. Yes, good, yummy potatoes. I got to get that. And I saw a snake the other night when I was walking the dogs. And now it's getting dark here early, so I really couldn't see it. But we were walking, and I felt Quake move close to me, like she was going around something, and I knew there wasn't anything on the sidewalk until I looked down and saw like a little snake slithering into the grass. But by the time I got my phone out and turned on the flashlight, he was gone. I couldn't see him anymore. But I don't know what kind of snake it was. I wish I would have seen him a little sooner before he got into the grass. But No, I know we have snakes in there. I know there's garter snakes, and then there's some little black snake. I don't know what kind it is. My neighbor saw like a whole bunch of them a couple months ago. I'll have to ask him what kind it was. He knows. I didn't. I've never seen them, but he got them in his yard. So, but you know who I want to see? I want to see this chat up other way. There we go. There they are. There they are. What's up, Mitzi? Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for being here. Brave, good morning, good afternoon. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Be easy, throwing up the whiskey bombs and the cakes and cookies. They had some good cakes and cookies last night at the wedding too. They had little pumpkin whooping pies. I'm all about that. Cookie Man, come on with the double the what? How do we say this? That's right, the burner account. James B with the burner account. Brave throwing out some shout outs to James B. Brian, Ball Ross, thank you for being here. Yes, you got the Falcon in there, and Brian is a weekend warrior. Shout out to the weekend warriors. There we go. Talk about all the sounds going crazy. Oh, I guess it is an eagle. You just salty about the Eagles, but that's all right. That's all right. They'll pull it out again today. What's up, Christopher? Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Be easy. There's my sister. Hi, Kelly. How are you, honey? Love you. Mitzi. And Prophet, you are frozen on my screen, and I'm assuming that's why Brian's still stuck up on there, too. Uh, and he's gone. Jay, thank you for being here. I hope everything is going well with you, Jay. Haven't seen you in a while. I have to get you in the great outdoors. Let's see who else is here. Oh, look, Keys is back. Keys is back. Jamie, thank you for being here. You are another weekend warrior we got a shout out to. Not sure if Keys is going to be able to put that. There we go. There we go. All right. Thank you for being here, Jamie. Appreciate you. Yes. Round of applause. Round of applause. And I see somebody. Don't forget. Yeah, that's right. Tell them, Mitzi. Tell them not to forget to smash that like button. And also, we are on my channel as well as T Keys' channel. So if you're watching from T Keys' channel, just slide on over to my channel. Hit the like button after you've hit the like button here on T Keys' channel. I'm not sure if we're on Wiz's channel or not. You can check. And if we're there, hit that like button there too. Elias, thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Yes, the naked gardener. Gotta go out and get my potatoes. Weekend warrior shout out. Appreciate you. Appreciate everybody that is here today. Thank you for joining us. I also appreciate our sponsors. So let's throw on that sponsor video.
Banana Bread Royals demonstrates that taking risks leads to incredible rewards. Their work with Hypo is outstanding, and the way they combine it with their Wookiee line is truly unparalleled. The interaction with other genes like Blackhead and Stranger produces breathtaking, one-of-a-kind animals. Be sure to follow them on Morph Market and Instagram. Lindworm Exotics specializes in a multitude of reptiles such as ball pythons, duemoral boas, coastal rosy boas, and false water cobras, to name a few. They are dedicated to providing the public with well-adjusted animals with superior quality. Follow them on Instagram and Morph Market. Black Box Reptile Cages should be your go-to for high-quality reptile enclosures and rack systems. They offer versatile hatchling and adult racks that work with both Vision and Freedom Breeder tubs, as well as a wide range of terrestrial, arboreal, and bioactive cages. Located in Beaufort, Georgia, Black Box Reptile Cages offers local pickup as well as ship and freight. Check them out at blackboxcages.com and use code WhiskeyBomb25 for 5% off. Selected Reptiles works with a wide range of genetic combos, including Hypo-VPI Xanthic, DG-VPI Xanthic, and Zebra, but where they stand out is their work with Monsoon, Monarch, Sunset, and other high-end morphs. In addition to reptiles, they produce premium feeder rodents delivering to Florida, Georgia, and North and South Carolina. Make sure to use promo code WhiskeyBomb5 for 5% off any snake. Check them out on Wolf Market or reach out directly. From fur to feathers, Fuzzy Acres has your feeder needs covered. Whether you're looking for frozen rats, bulk rabbits, or harder to find feeders like quail and guinea pigs, they've got the stock serious keepers rely on. Visit fuzzyacres.com for clean, healthy feeders that are frozen and shipped with care. Remember to use code WhiskeyBomb10 to save 10% on any order, and as always, enjoy free shipping on all orders over $300. Grant and Mary of Rec Room Snakes have been breeding ball pythons and Woma pythons for over a decade. They're staples within the ball python realm and most notably known for their work with the paint mutation and putting it to multiple codoms and recessives to truly unlock its potential. Please give them a follow on Morph Market to check out their incredible animals and on Instagram to keep up with their projects.
Thank you to all of the sponsors, as well as thank you to everybody that's working behind the scenes to keep this show and all of the Whiskey Bomb Network shows running smoothly. And appreciate you. And I tell you all every week, and now it's really even more important, you don't need cable. Get rid of cable, get rid of Hulu, get rid of Disney, get rid of all of that, and subscribe to the Whiskey Bomb Network. Get all the shows that you need. We're right here every day of the week, 7 days a week, multiple times a day. We got all you need. Did I see Jesus sneak in? I think he's on Twitch. I remembered him this time. I remembered him this time. What's up, Jesus? Thank you for joining us. And if there's any lurkers, leave a comment. Just say hello. If there's any friends of today's guest, say hello. Give him a shout out. Give me a shout out. Give the network a shout out. Just say hello to everybody. Elias, we'll talk. I'm surprised you haven't heard about it. Never mind. I misread your comment. Yes, we are still. We are still. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But we are going to bring out today's guest something a little different. I've been catching like videos of, I guess this is a sport. We'll find out. I'll ask him if this is considered a sport. But I've been seeing some videos popping up on TikTok, and I wanted to bring somebody on to educate me and educate all of you because I really don't know too much about it. I don't know anything about it. So hopefully he can educate us and teach us the ways of what he does and all that good stuff. So without further ado, from DMV Falconry, let's bring out Mo. Hey.
How y'all doing?
Good. How are you, Mo?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
And DMV, so I'm going to assume you are just a little bit south of me. I'm in Pennsylvania.
Yep. I'm in Prince George's County, Maryland. Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. Very good. That's awesome. That is awesome. So for those that are here that do not know who Wild Mo is, can you give them a brief introduction, let them know who you are and what you
Guys,
do?
I am a state licensed falconer in Prince George's County, Maryland. I've been practicing the art of falconry since 2018. I'm 24 now, so I've been doing this since I was 18 years old.
Well, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And you answered like two of my first questions right there. That's awesome. So yeah, I one of the questions that I did have was, do you have to have a license to do this?
Yeah, so Falconry is a 4,000-year-old field sport. It's the oldest field sport known to man. And the definition of falconry is using a trained bird of prey to hunt and kill wild game as natural habitat and train it to come back to you, basically. So falconry has been in the United States for maybe less than 150 years, but it's been all around the world for over 4,000 years. So it's a highly, it's the most regulated field sport in the United States. So because all the birds we use are federally protected. You can't own a carcass, a deceased bird, a live one. You can't buy one. You can't trade one. You can't sell one. You can't possess one without a state falcon permit or something similar like a bird bandit permit or a state rehabilitator permit. Like I said, all these birds are federally protected under the Migratory Bird Treaty Act, so you can't own one without a permit. So, like I said, all falconry is the same department that handles the hunting and fishing license handles the falconry permit. So it's a lot of steps. You got a lot of paperwork, a lot of hoops you got to jump through to get into it. You have to first you have to find a sponsor. That sponsors another falconer in your area, or not
Okay.
you that's been doing it for at least 5 years, and they will agree to teach you how to do it for at least 2 years. So you'll be their apprentice, and during that time frame, you learn about the birds, you work with them, you basically you do everything they tell you to do, and that way you learn, gain your own knowledge. So after you find a sponsor, you have to take a 100-question exam issued by the State Fish and Wildlife Service or your state's Department of Natural Resources. And that exam basically covers the biology, the husbandry, the care, the hunting styles, the history, everything involved in the sport of falconry. That test is on it. So basically, it's 100 questions. It varies by state. I know in Pennsylvania it's 150 questions, but in Maryland, where I am, it's 100 questions, all multiple choice, all multiple choice, all like so based on the husbandry, everything that goes into the sport of falconry. And back when I took my test, I took that test 3 times. So back then, if you fail one time, you have to wait 3 months to take it again. But now, thankfully, it's only 1 month. It's only 1 month to take it again currently to 2025. But like I said, back in 2018, I took it 3 times. So I didn't get my a passing score is at 80%. So 80 out of 100 is the requirement to pass.
Okay.
The first time I took it, I got a 70. The second time, I got a 76. Third time, I got 81. So I progressed over time. But yeah, after you pass your inspection, I'm sorry, after you pass your test, your exam, a fish and wildlife officer will come to your property and inspect your mews. And mews is basically a hawk house where you're gonna keep the bird.
Okay.
Make sure you have all the equipment. Make sure all the aspects of your enclosure is designed to meet state and federal requirements. You have to make sure the bird can't get out. Make sure the bird has enough space to open the. But the main thing looking for is an enclosure big enough so the bird can spread its wings without
Okay.
touching either side of the enclosure walls. That's the minimum size it has to be. Make sure you have a water bowl, 2 windows. Make sure you have bars in the windows. And like I said, the state fish and wildlife officer will come out to your property, inspect your equipment, your enclosure, and once you pass your inspection, they send a license in the mail or email nowadays. But
Yeah.
once you have your license in hand, you're legally allowed to go out in the wild and trap a juvenile, most likely a red-tailed hawk to train. The first 2 years you do it, you're required to trap a bird out the wild and train it from the wild. But once you do it for 3 years, you can buy captively produced birds of prey.
I'm sorry, there was a car going by. I missed that last line.
Oh, I'm saying. So once when you first get your license as an
Mhm.
apprentice, you're required to go out into the wild and trap your first juvenile bird of prey out the wild. So,
Oh
but like I said,
boy.
I've been doing it for 7 years, and once you get past that 2 year apprenticeship, you become what's called a general level falconer, which
Okay.
means you're allowed up to 3 birds in your possession. You can have up to 3, and you're allowed to buy captively produced raptors from licensed breeders. But the first 2 years, you're only allowed to take juvenile raptors out the wild to train them because that's what they did back before they had food. Well, not food, but back before they had firearms and different weapons. The only thing they had was a bird back in like medieval Europe, places like Saudi Arabia, still a cultural heritage to this day. So all it is using a bird to hunt stuff. So the bird's going to be the weapon. The bird's going to be a hunting. That's all it is.
Okay. And that was actually one of my questions. If the birds that you acquire, if they're already trained, if you have to train them, and what does training look like? So you have to capture. You said a younger
Yeah.
bird.
So Corey, we still have to follow the state fish and wildlife regulations. So we're only allowed to trap juveniles out the wild. We can't touch the adults. If we accidentally catch an adult, we're legally required to release it because the adults are nature's breeding stock, and
Mhm.
they have 9 times out of 10 they have mates, and we don't want to take a mate away from the other mate. So we're only allowed to trap juveniles out the wild. And another reason for that is 70 to 80% of juvenile raptors will die their first year of life due to different things like pesticides, disease, getting hit by a car, flying
Right.
into windows, getting electrocuted. Farmers sometimes shoot them for getting in their chicken coops. So, like I said, the 70 to 80% mortality rate for juveniles. That's why we're allowed to trap the juveniles and train them. And most people, once they train a bird, they'll keep it for a season or two and then release it in the spring and summertime. And 9 times out of 10, once we release that bird after we get done hunting with it for a season or two, the bird's gonna be more stronger, more
Hmm.
healthier, and more has more hunting knowledge when we first got it from the wild. So 9 times out of 10, the bird do a lot better in the wild once we release it back than when we first caught it. But yeah. So to answer the question, no, the birds aren't already trained, obviously. So when you catch your first bird at the wild, the first thing they think is that you're gonna eat them and consume them. But
Right.
over time. So one of the oldest methods you have your glove. And what I was taught was I kept my bird in the glove for hours a day. So it's a process called manning, and that is basically getting the bird acclimated to anything involving human activity,
Hmm.
cars, lights, other people, livestock, anything that's going to be associated with the human. The bird has to be accustomed to that and be acclimated to that over a course of days in order for it to be relaxed and calm down and accept the fact that it's going to be a falconry bird. But the only thing they understand is food. Not like a dog. We're mammals. We have intellectual feelings and we can process things to more of a higher degree than other animals. But the only thing a bird knows
Hmm.
is you're either going to kill me or you're either going to feed me. So the only thing they understand is food.
Right.
That's the only thing they understand is that you're giving me food because food to them is vital in their survival. The only time a wild bird is going to get something is going to get handed food by another creature is when it's in the nest, is being fed by the parents for a certain amount of time until they get older and leave the nest, or when their mate brings them
Hmm.
food. So food is kind of like the only bond and experience they get in nature in the wild. So yeah, like I said, get them in a dark room, have them on a glove, slowly introduce them to food, put food in your glove, and once you have a couple of days, most birds of prey when you get them from the wild, they're not going to eat for maybe like 2 3 days just because they're so scared and they're so not used to the scenario what's going on. But they're never going to let themselves starve. They're never going to let themselves starve. So eventually they'll get comfortable and start taking little bites from your glove. And once they bend down to eat off your glove like that, that exposes the back of
Uh-huh.
their neck, and that's basically the biggest form of trust you can. Because once they bend down, they can't see you, so they have to trust you
Yeah.
enough. They have to trust you enough for them to be comfortable eating from you. And once they do that, that's a break of the ice right there. That's icebreaker. So yeah, once you do that, you what I do is I keep my birds in my garage in their dark carrier box. It's called
Okay.
it's a box. So basically, it's a transport box, and I let them sleep in that box for a couple of days until they get calm enough to be put in their full
They
outdoor.
are killing. Yes.
Yep. And
Yeah.
so,
Interesting.
like I said, once they're eating from your glove, once they're bending down, exposed the back of the neck, you eventually get them to take short jumps from a stationary perch inside your garage. Which is what I do personally. And then once they're jumping, they back a little further next day. Once they're jumping and doing short hops and longer hops and longer hops. And what I do is once they're flying the full length of my garage, then I can put them outside in their enclosure. But
Mhm.
but yeah, like I said, once they're flying the full length, within a couple seconds of me calling them to the glove for food, then I take them outside, put them on a perch outside, and I use a long training leash called a creance. Basically, it's a leash, but it's basically something that is going to ensure they don't fly away until they're ready to be free flown for the first time. So once
Right.
they're flying, say 20, 25 feet, within 5 seconds of me calling them to my glove for food, then I basically take them off and let them free fly the first time. That's the most nerve wracking thing in falconry is once the bird is trained for like, well, the average time to train a wild caught bird is 3 weeks to a month with constant
Okay.
repetition, constant schedule, constant routine, daily basis training. 3 weeks to a
Uh-huh.
month is the average time to train a freshly caught juvenile wild red tailed hawk. But like I said, once they're coming 20, 25 feet within 5 seconds, and we call them to my glove, then I take them off the leash, let them free fly. And once they do that, then we take them to the woods and we start hunting. Yep.
That is so fascinating.
Hmm.
That's really awesome.
Yeah.
And I like going back to you. You're able to capture a young juvenile bird
Mm.
and essentially
Yeah.
saving its life.
Exactly. Exactly.
So that's very awesome. I
Mhm.
like that.
Yeah,
I
and
like that aspect of the
they get
sport.
veterinary care. They get dusted for parasites. Anything that Well, basic falconry it has zero negative impacts on the wild population of juvenile raptors and adult raptors in the wild. Like I say, if anything, we're giving the bird a better chance of life because, like I said, 70 80% of them die their first year, and
Yes.
when we eventually release them from falconry, maybe a year or two, they like I said, they're stronger, healthier, more. more of an efficient hunter than when we first got them from the wild. So they typically have a better life in the long run after we release them from our care in falconry.
That's fantastic. That is fantastic. So how many birds do you have?
Currently, I just have one. I just have a female Siberian goshawk. Her name is Diamond, but I've had a lot of birds over the years. I'm a general level falconer, which means I'm allowed up to three raptors currently. But I tend to really, really focus on one at a time now because back then, as I got older, I got more responsibilities. I got a job. I got things to do. But like I said, these birds are very time consuming, so you never want to get too many at once. Even if you're allowed to have more than one, you still want to look at your own life situation and say, do I really have time to do more than one bird justice? And the birds have to fly at least 3 or 4 times a week in order to be happy, and they will actually like start to maybe
What's up, Jared?
yeah, and they'll get you very, very hemmed up with them. So you really want to look at your situation and analyze how many birds I'm able to fly and take care of and hunt with on a regular basis. So yeah, like I said, I'm a general falconer right now, so I'm allowed up to three. But once you've been doing falconry in Maryland for 7 years, you become a master level falconer, which means you're allowed up to 5 wild caught birds and any number of captively produced raptors. But like I said, it's all about your life schedule and your life situation, of how many birds you can honestly keep and take care of and hunt with on a regular basis.
Yes, absolutely. And I can imagine how much how time consuming they can be. Can you put up some of the pictures? There we go. I thought Jared was a weekend warrior. Oh, can't hear you through the applause. Oh, okay. All right. So we're not looking at the pictures yet.
Yep.
We got a couple minutes. That's
Mhm.
okay. Can you walk me through the training? Is it difficult to train?
Um, it's not overly difficult, but just like people, each bird has their own personality. So
Yes.
something that works for one bird may not necessarily work for a different bird. But there's numerous species you can use for falconry, and some of them are better adapted for hunting than others. Let's see. So like I said, most apprentice falconers the first year they'll get a juvenile wild rectal hawk out the wild to train for the first bird.
Hmm.
And I would say that's one of the easiest birds to train because the cool thing about the United States, we're allowed to take the wild population, the juveniles, use them for falconry. A lot of other countries, there's no wild take allowed. So places like
Okay.
The United Kingdom, they have a lot of there's a lot of falconers out there. It's a very, very historically significant sport down in the United Kingdom, places like England and
Hmm.
Spain, places like that. But you're not, and that their rules and regulations, you're not allowed to take a wild bird out the wild and train for falconry. But you can legally buy a capitally produced raptor over there. And the crazy thing is, there's no necessary permit or training requirement down there in the United Kingdom. The only thing you need to have in the United Kingdom to have a bird
Oh wow.
and use it for hunting is like all you gotta do is buy a hunting license, and then you can go buy a captive bred bird of prey and use it for hunting. But here in the United States, you'll go to jail if you keep a feather or get a bird out the wild without a permit. So it's kind of crazy. Like I said, the state, like this is my book girl right there.
That's
The state
wild.
the state regions vary, and different states may have slightly different laws, but here in Maryland, we typically have a very, very good set of laws that we are very, very thankful for, because a lot of other states, their laws are a lot stricter than Maryland's.
Yes, it sounds like you have some good laws.
Mhm.
I saw Eric B sneak in here. Eric, thank you for joining us. And you see the comment.
Yep.
Hit that like button. Turn on notifications. Share it out. You know the deal.
Mhm.
You know the deal. And that's your girl there.
Yep, she is she's 50-50. So goshawks are found all over the world, but Diamond, she is a 50-50. She's called a cross. She's not a hybrid. She's called a cross. So she's part Siberian and part Finnish. And the Siberian ones, they're a subspecies. They live in northern Europe, places like Siberia, Eastern
Okay.
Asia, and places like northern Russia, and that gives them that white coloration because they're from the tundra areas and they live in coniferous forests. They hunt a lot of large hares and a lot of upland game birds and things like that. And they evolved to have that white plumage to help them blend into the snow when they're hunting. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, she's an imprint, so I raised her from a 19-year-old ball of fluff, and eventually I had to teach her how to hunt and like take her out and trap squirrels in my backyard for her to practice catching and stuff like that. So yeah, I would say she's one of the hardest things I've ever done in my falconing career. I've been a falconer for 7 years, and that bird right there gave me the most, gave me the most hell of a time to get her right and get her catching stuff. But yeah, I love her a lot. So And like I said, the birds don't love you. The birds aren't like parrots. They're not like macaws or parakeets. They don't love you at all. They tolerate us.
Yes.
They tolerate. The only reason they stick around is because we feed them, and they know that if they come back to us, they're gonna get fed no matter what. That's the only reason they're cooperative. But yeah, you don't nuzzle up against them. You don't rub them too much. You can't cuddle with them. They won't tolerate that. The only reason they stick around is like I said, we feed them. We take them hunting.
That's
And that's Hilda right there. She is a Harris hawk. She's a desert species. Yeah,
okay.
we caught a squirrel right there. I was back in my own old wood lot. I used to live a couple miles down from where I am now. So yeah, so we go through the woods. Like I said, they're trained to follow us through the woods. So we're in the wood. I throw open a tree and walk through the woods, and I get a stick, hit the bushes, pull the vines on the trees, get the squirrels and rabbits to move a little bit, so the birds
Mhm.
can see them and start chasing them. And it's our job to give the bird the best opportunity at game as possible. So we're at the base of the tree, pulling the vines, hitting the tree, make sure the squirrel stays in the area where the hawk has a better opportunity of catching it successfully. So yeah, and like I said, whatever they catch, that's what they get to eat. And we call it a trade off. So once they catch something, we help them dispatch it, we help them kill it, and we let them eat a little bit of it at a time, and then we get a smaller piece of meat or a lure, and we toss to the side, and they'll let go of that whatever they just caught, and then I put it in my game bag, and that way you don't want to let them eat too much in one sitting. If you do that, they'll get full and they don't want to cooperate or hunt anymore. So
Okay.
it's all about how hungry and how motivated they are to hunt and participate. The only reason they're cooperating is because they're hungry and they know that if I'm hungry, I'm going to go hunting. So we
Yeah.
don't starve them, but we do weigh them on a scale every morning, depending on
Okay.
how heavy they are. That'll determine how good they'll hunt or how bad they'll hunt. So if they're too heavy, they'll just sit in the tree and look at you. They won't even like come down without feeling hungry. So if they're like too light, that means they're not going to be as strong as a flyer. So they're try to get like the middle part. If they're just hungry enough to fly, but not too hungry that they're not going to be healthy. So I always want to have that accurate measurement in grams on a scale every morning.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, and that makes sense. Keep them hungry.
Yep,
Keep
and
them
that's
hungry.
like I said, she does better when it's cold too. Because when it's snowing on the ground, the rabbits and squirrels can't run as fast in the snow. They can't move as fast, but she can. She's from the cold weather environment, so she's a lot
Yeah.
faster when it's cold and when it's snow on the ground. So yeah, last year we caught 12 rabbits and a squirrel last year, but I'm trying to like triple that number. How many things she caught this year? I just started hunting last week, so we're gonna try to get a couple of squirrels. Yeah, that's Kizzy. That's my old red tail I had. That's my
Nice.
second year as an apprentice back in 2018, 2020. Yeah, that was 2020 right there.
That is a huge
Yeah.
bird.
Another thing, so no matter what the species, no matter what the bird of prey species, the female is always 30% larger, more
Yes.
powerful, more aggressive, more heavier than the males. The males are always going to be a little bit more faster, a little more agile, but the females are going to weigh more. The females will have more strength in their talons. So that's why most falconers across the country, across the globe, if they want to catch like bigger, more challenging game species, they always go for a female because females have the extra weight on them, have the extra
Okay.
punch power. But if they hunt things like fast birds and fast quarry that typically need more speed to catch, the males typically are more favored because the males are always going to be a little faster and more agile than the females. But me personally, I love females.
Yes, you
I love the
did.
bigger size. I love females. I love the bigger size. Yeah.
Yeah, they're more impressive,
Yeah.
more impressive looking. The hood
Mhm.
that the one hawk was wearing. What was that? What is that about?
That's called a hood. So all it does is take away the hawk's vision temporarily. So if we get a new bird off the trap, if we get a new bird from a breeder, they don't know what's going on. So when a reptile or bird of prey for that matter, when they can't see anything, that calms them down. So like the hawks, they're predators. Their vision is very very important to them. So when you put that hood on them, they relax, they calm down because they're in the dark, they can't see anything. Therefore, they don't have anything to be afraid of. So there's a lot of stimulus in the environment, a lot of things
Hmm.
going on they're not familiar with. You put that hood on them, and they'll calm down instantly, and that way you can transform safely without them getting too stressed out or too worked up by whatever's going on around them if they're not used to it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
made of leather. It's made of leather. There's nothing gonna hurt the bird, and we always make sure we get the right size to fit the particular bird we have at the time.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Nick, I saw you. Hello. Thank you for joining us. Haven't seen you in a couple of weeks. Hope you're good. Hope you're good. What was I going to ask? So, you have your one bird
Mhm.
now. How big is the enclosure that you have around?
Also, it's a 12 by 8.
Warrior.
It's a modified almond shed. It has a water bowl, like I said, it has pine needles, it has two windows, there's a food chute, you can throw food in there. If like I said, if I wasn't home, if I wasn't available to feed her, all I gotta do is like call my sister or my stepdad. They say, "Can you take the bird food out the freezer and toss it in there? That way the bird can't. You don't have to open the door so the bird can get fed and toss through the food chute in the corner." But yeah,
Yeah.
it's just an 8x12 modified almond shed. I clean it like once a month because the birds do get messy, so they poop a lot. So we really gotta be on top of it because, like I said, they we get inspected twice a year by the state's Fish and Wildlife Service. So I was gonna make sure whenever inspection time comes, we're always gonna make sure the bird's enclosure is pretty tidy and the bird make sure there's birds in good health and all the water is fresh and like so all the pine needles are changed on a daily basis. So yeah, it's a full time job, but once you've been doing it for a while, it's kind of grown on you. It's kind of a way of life now.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I can imagine it can get a little time consuming,
Yeah.
but that's great that they do inspect and make sure that the birds are living in healthy conditions.
Mm.
That's very important.
Yeah, they always do that every year.
Did I see pictures of you with an owl?
Oh yeah, so I had a barn owl back in 2021. I got an imprint barn owl. But the funny thing is, like owls, like some falconers, they do train owls to hunt, but a lot of people that have owls, they get a lot of backlash because they're not as their biology is a lot different than the average hawk or falcon. Therefore, the
Okay.
training process is going to be a lot more tedious, and they don't really catch on. I would say as fast as the average hawk or falcon. So that's
Okay.
why a lot of falconers who have owls, they typically really put a lot of time and work into getting the owl to do whatever they're training it to do. And 9 times out of 10 it's going to be hunting, but they're fun. They're fun. I know a lot of couple of rehabilitators and like animal educators that have owls for demonstration purposes. So yeah, I've had one owl so far. Yes.
Okay, that's cool. Is there any species of bird that you haven't had that you would like to get at some point?
That's a good question. Well, I want an ornate hawk eagle. It's a South American species. It's
Okay.
really colorful, and they do breed them in captivity. But they're very expensive. They're very expensive. So yeah, this it's like I said. So the best way I can describe it, it's kind of like a Harry
That's
Potter.
awesome.
It's kind of like a Harry Potter thing. So the falconry is a lot of different things you can do. A lot of different species of birds of prey can fly and hunt successfully. So
Mhm.
nothing. All depends on where you are in the country. So a lot of people they get birds and sometimes they don't do as well. So basically, if you're in a what's that?
No, that's just profit.
Oh, okay.
You got a guest.
Okay, so like so another thing is so if you're in an area with a lot of squirrels, a lot of rabbits, the area you live in will determine what kind of bird you're going to fly and hunt with. If you live in an area with a lot of open land, a lot of
Mhm.
small ponds, waterfowl, a lot of ducks, a lot of pheasants, then you 9 times out of 10 you probably fly a falcon. But if you live in like a suburban area with like wood lots here and there or agricultural fields, you'll fly a goshawk or a red hawk or a Harris hawk. So
Okay.
each bird has their own different flight style, and the area you live in the country will determine what kind of bird you should or should not have in your possession if you're going to hunt with this successfully.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's really interesting. That's
Mhm.
really interesting. I like that.
Yep.
Now, do you plan on doing anything um, on the education side?
Yeah, so as Falcons, I get booked sometimes. I do community events. I go out to like Earth Day events and nature themed community events here and there with my bird. I do presentations.
Nice.
I'm a little bit of an ambassador for falconry, so I spread awareness to it and give everybody something to look forward to seeing. And
Nice.
yeah, you can do a little further and have your own little school of falconry, but that's more paperwork I don't feel like doing right now. So yeah, so like I said, I do hear education programs here and there, but nothing too crazy. I go to different events, different like I said, school presentations, outdoorsman conventions, and things like that. So yeah, I do a little bit of education here and there.
That's awesome. I see. These are things that I didn't know existed. I've never seen any type of falconry education event being advertised. I'm not really looking for it either, so I don't know if anything like that happens around here. But now I'm going to have to keep my eyes out for something.
Yeah,
I
and
definitely.
I will say each state has their own falconry association or club. So I go to different meets. So as falconers, we always tend to be connected one way or another. So every February we have go to different states, different field meets. All the falconers across the state and surrounding states, they get together like at a hunting lodge. We take turns going out in the area, around the woods, around the fields. They take turns flying our birds, hunting together, and I'm doing little dinners and raffles, things like that. So yeah, so like I said, each state has their own little falconry club organization.
And that was another question that I had for you. That if there are falconry clubs,
Yeah,
that's wow. I'm learning.
yeah, there's a lot.
I'm
There's a lot.
learning. That's
So the
amazing.
like I said, there are a lot of different state clubs and things like that. But the North American Falcon Association, that's the whole country's club.
Yeah.
That's the biggest one because like all the falconers across the United States go to that one. It's out west usually, but like places like Texas, Oklahoma, and
Okay.
Kansas. So I've yet to go into that one, but within a couple of years, probably won't go down there too because that's a state. That's the country's association meet. So all the falcons across the United States will be that one, but. I go to Virginia, New Jersey, Pennsylvania. So I was just in
Okay.
Pennsylvania a couple weeks ago. Actually, I was
Oh
with
yeah.
a bird. I was with a bird bander and some falcon. They were doing surveys on the red hawk population up in Pennsylvania.
Where in Pennsylvania were you?
Center County, Pennsylvania.
Okay. I
Yeah,
don't know where that is.
it's not, it's not too far from Philadelphia.
Okay. Is that Jeff? Hi, Jeff. Yes, you're on camera. Hi, Jeff.
Now we on camera. Bam!
There you go. Now everybody can see you.
Now we
Next time I'll make sure my hair is done. My bad.
Yes, that's okay.
We out here.
That's another ball python breeder that visits the Prophet every now and then. Good to see Jeff. Um, so you're up in Pennsylvania surveying the red tail hawks.
Hmm.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
What else do the clubs do?
A lot of people come to me. They ask me, how do I find a sponsor? How do I find somebody that's going to teach me how to do it like you do? The
Mhm.
first thing I say is, I always try to point them in the right direction. I always tell them like, check out your local falconry association in your state or region. Look at your state's Fish and Wildlife Service regulations. Because like I said, each state's regulations are going to be vary slightly from state to state. So, like I said, I always encourage people to go to falconry meets and always make sure you get familiarized with the falconers in your area. Like I said, the meat, we get permission to go on different properties or hunting properties, different
Okay.
we get different opportunities, do raffles and do giveaways and meet guest speakers and things like that. So yes, it's very cool. It's very cool to go to different meets.
That sounds cool. That does sound cool. And I just had a question in my head, and it just went away. I hate when that happens. Um, I asked all the questions on my list. Don't mind the table shaking. My dog likes to
No worries, no worries,
hit the dog or hit the table.
no worries.
Um, yeah, that's. I asked everything that I had written down. Darn it. What else can you tell me?
Let's see. Deal with that and well, yeah. So like it's a hunting sport. So when people come to me,
That's a question that I had for you. With the, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. It
it's
just
okay.
I didn't. This old mind. I didn't want the question
It's okay.
to
No worries, no worries.
leave. When you take them hunting, do you keep what they catch, and do you keep it for them, or do you keep it for you?
That depends. So a lot of factors go into that, but 9 times out of 10, whatever they catch, they get to eat in the future. So I have a big freezer. I have a big freezer
Okay.
for the birds' food. I put squirrels in there, rabbits in there. But depending on what they catch, I'll either give it to them or cook it for myself. I do like rabbit. I've caught cotton terrors the birds have caught, and I've ate some. I got a video on my TikTok about that too. So yeah, so it all depends on an individual person as a falconer. If you want to eat whatever they catch, that you sure can, but it depends on where they catch it too. Because I know some falconers they tend to catch a lot of waterfowl, and
Okay.
some of the bodies of water the ducks be in is not always the cleanest. So it all depends on where the prey was caught and how the prey looks too. So like some wild game is not always going to be safe to eat. Some
Yes.
animals may be sick or something like that. But me personally, like 9 times out of 10, where the birds catch, they get to eat in the future.
Okay, that's cool. Yes, I do. I have had rabbit before. Rabbit tastes pretty good. Almost tastes like roast beef.
Yeah, it's good. It's pretty good. I like it a lot. But yeah, so like I said, a lot of people come to me. Some of them don't understand that it's a hunting sport. Some of them just think it's like keeping a bird in the enclosure, having it on your glove all the time, looking cool. So I really gotta like break it down to people. It's a hunting sport. You're gonna be in the woods. It's gonna be cold outside. You're gonna be in the thorns. You're gonna be in the vines in the woods. So you're gonna be pulling stuff. You're gonna be helping the bird kill stuff. So if you're not really into hunting, you're not a big fan of hunting or seeing animals get consumed or captured by birds of prey, then there's a lot of other routes you can take and become a wildlife rehabilitator. You can work as like at a nature center or zoological facility. You can become a bird bander, a bird surveyor. So that way you can still work with the birds, but you don't gotta get your hands dirty and bloody from the birds' prey. But
Uh-huh.
like I said, there's different routes to take. But a lot of falconers in the United States, most of them, I would say, they do it because they love animals. They do it because it's something different, something
Okay.
that's very very primal. Because like I said, it's been around for thousands of years. So as human beings, we're drawn to powerful animals like predators and different
Yes.
things like that. So we really get a emotional connection when we see an animal kill something or work with an animal like a dog or anything that's going to be beneficial to us as well as
Mhm.
to watch it do what's naturally meant to do. That's what hunting and catching things for him to feed himself. But like I said, as humans, we're drawn to that. So like I said, most falcons in the country, they really get into it just for the aspect of wow, I can do this, and I can have this animal be a partner to me and allow it to do what it naturally wants to do and come back to me at the end of the day. So yeah, that's what I got into it for. Because like I said, I didn't mind the hunting part. I didn't really care about going in the woods. All I want to do is have a bird and train it and be involved with it any type of way. And like I said, I always love being outside. I'm an Eagle Scout. I was a Boy Scout for 10 years. I'm an Eagle
Okay.
Scout now, so I was already familiar with hunting, fishing, and all the outdoorsman stuff. But like I said, I never really got into hunting as much until I started getting my falconry permit.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and nothing you're required to have a hunting license and a falconry permit in the United States if you're going to practice falconry. If you're going to hunt with the bird, you have to have you have to take a hunter safety. Even if you never hunted before a day in your life, you're required to go through a hunter safety course, required to do online classes, required to purchase a hunting license. But yeah, so once you get all that done, once you got the paperwork done, the fun stuff can start. So yeah,
Yeah, that's what I wanted to go back to. Also, that test that you mentioned that you took it reminded me of last year. I got my license, my property and casualty insurance license,
nice, congratulations!
and in the state of Pennsylvania, the test has 170 questions,
Wow,
and you have to get 100 of them correct
wow,
before you pass your test.
mm,
I took the test 6 times,
wow,
um, and I think the lowest I got was 94,
mm,
and there was the one time before passing I got 99. I
dang,
was just like right under
yeah.
the uh, the 100 uh, correct.
Mm.
So I can imagine how
Yeah, I
tough it
was.
is.
Yeah, I was eating me alive. But like I said, thankfully now, if somebody want to take the test, they don't have to wait 1 month if they fail it. God forbid. But back then, three
Yeah,
months was a long time to wait, and I was dedicated to it. That's why I didn't give up. A lot of people they get discouraged and don't try
absolutely.
it again. So I really had that mindset. I'm gonna pass it. Like I said, that test is not to be taken lightly. It's going to be it's all multiple choice, like I said, but you really got to read the question thoroughly and really do your studying because
Mhm.
some of those questions may try to trick you. So yeah.
Yeah, we on the other actually a couple minutes from me is a zoo that has a couple of bald eagles
Mhm.
that the Philadelphia Eagles use
Nice.
in their stadium, and I would imagine that they did some type of falconry type
Yeah, that's
training
a good point.
for
So
them.
most like I said, falconry was around long before training birds of prey. So the closest thing falconry was like I said, just using the bird to get food for the day. But a lot
Mhm.
of zoological facilities, a lot of nature centers, a lot of nature programs, rehabilitate. They still use falconry techniques that's been around for thousands of years today in their nature programs, their rehabilitation programs. Even though they're
Yeah.
not going to be hunting with the bird, they still use the tools and equipment falconers use. The rehabilitators and wildlife schools, they still use those same techniques and tricks that falconers use.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I'm gonna actually try to get them one day, since they're local and
Yeah.
we got a couple of Eagles, and we got some Eagles fans around here. I'm looking at you, Prophet. What's up, Brandon? Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Um, and Mo, you didn't always have birds. You started out with and Brandon is a weekend. Before you got the birds, you had a couple of reptiles, right?
Yeah, I've had a lot of reptiles. I was a reptile fanatic, so I went to
Right.
Repticon. Every reptile convention I could find, I always went there because I
Yes.
love reptiles. And I've had ball pythons, I've had leopard geckos, bearded dragons, now monitors, savannah monitors, green basilisk, brown basilisk. What else? Am I missing anything? Amazon tree boas. I've had sandfish, skinks. I've had a lot of reptiles, and I've had a sugar glider. I've had American mink before. I trained a mink one time.
Wow.
Yeah, so I've had a lot of animals, but like I said, as
Yeah.
I've gotten older, I've started getting more jobs, started working a lot more. So I really have to really be mindful how many animals I can have at once to take care of them because I don't like getting an animal and just not taking care of it right. So I really
Yes.
have to really had to slow my collection down, my animals down to a minimum because I really had to focus on making money and reaching adulthood and stuff like that. So
Hmm.
yeah, but like I said, right now I have a leopard gecko, African pixie frog, and a juvenile alligator snapping turtle right now. So I have three reptiles right now. So it's doable. So
That's fun. That's funny. I have a leopard gecko also. I do want one of those pixie frogs. They're
yeah,
just they're real cool. They get big. Brandon says he lives near me. I think like 20 minutes away. If
yeah.
this is the guy in Waldorf,
I'm in
are you in Waldorf?
Brandywine. So yeah, not too far from water, like 20 minutes, like you said.
Okay. Yeah, he's a ball python breeder. That's
Nice,
down
nice,
your way.
nice.
So Brandon, thank you for stopping in and giving that shout out. Yeah, the pixie frogs they get real real
Yeah,
huge.
that's why I like them. They're very easy to take care of. All they do is sleep and eat all day, and occasionally sit in their water bowl. They're very fun and easy to take care of.
Yeah, they are easy until they bite you. I heard that they can.
Yeah, they have like really they have bony projections in their bottom jaw that can hurt you. But
Yeah.
thankfully, I've never gotten bit by. He's tiny, but like that right now. So yeah.
And how old is he?
So when I got him from Underground Reptiles. I ordered him online from Underground Reptiles. So
Okay.
about 2.5 months, 3 months old now. So
Okay.
he was
A little
tiny when I
guy.
got him, but he is growing. They do have a nice little growth rate.
Yeah. Cool. Well, that's fun. I might have to hit you up for Underground Reptiles connection so I
Yeah,
can, when I'm ready,
yeah, they're nice. They're
ready to
nice.
add one to my collection. Uh, um, what other reptiles would you like to have?
I want to get a Cayman lizard because, like I said, y'all people in Pennsylvania, y'all lucky because y'all can have crocodilians with no permit at all. I like that about Pennsylvania. I always
Yeah.
told myself if I had to move, I would either go to Florida, Pennsylvania, North Carolina because like Pennsylvania is like y'all exotic rules. Y'all basically have no limitations on what y'all can have. But like I said, I always wanted a Cayman lizard because I can't have a. I always want a Cuvier's dwarf Cayman, but I can't have a Cayman legally in Maryland. So a
Okay.
Cayman lizard is the closest thing I can get to a crocodilian. So I would
Yeah.
love a Cayman lizard. I would love a sulcata tortoise. So, yeah, sulcata tortoise, Cayman lizard, and yeah, it's basically my two things I'm looking forward to next. I'll always try to get reptiles in the spring and summer because I
Mhm.
don't like really taking care of it through the cold winter because I always want to make sure give it the best chance it can grow
Yes.
right without it getting too cold on them so far. So yeah, I always try to go to reptile conventions in the spring and summer.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, you mentioned Repticon. I've gone to the one down in Maryland a couple of
Yeah,
times.
that was
It's
my
pretty.
first one I've ever been to. First reptile show I ever been to was Repticon. Because like, when I was first getting into animals, I didn't even know reptile conventions was a thing. So when I was
Me
probably
neither.
like 14, 15, I would say, I went to my first reptile show, and it's been down here ever since. I always loved that. I always loved going to reptile shows, spending $1,000 on things I don't really need. But yeah, I love reptile conventions.
I relate. Really, yeah. I didn't know that reptile shows exhibits or expos took place either, and I have one literally 20 minutes away from me,
Hmm.
and I didn't know they were
Yeah,
a
I've been to
couple.
the Hamburg reptile show and up in Hamburg, Pennsylvania. That was my best one I've ever been to. Yeah, they had Morlet's crocodiles, they had Cuvier's dwarf caimans, and all that stuff. But I couldn't take it across state lines because I got too much stuff going on for myself. I don't feel like getting caught up with the Fish and Wildlife Service. So
Yeah, you don't want that. You
yeah,
don't want that. You don't want that. Yeah, I've been to the Hamburg show a couple of times in their old location and once in their new location.
Mhm. Nice, nice.
Yeah, that's been fun. Qua what is it? I was going to say Quakertown. It's not Quakertown. Gettysburg. Gettysburg has a good show.
Nice, nice.
Prophet's laughing at me. Stop laughing at me.
That's funny.
Wow. Uh, they can't. Y'all can't. So Mo, where can our viewers find you?
Okay, so if you go on YouTube, it's Wild Mo PG Falconer, PG all caps, and go on Instagram, DMV underscore Falconry Experience, and TikTok is wild underscore MODIENG. Same for my Instagram page.
Okay, cool. I didn't realize you had a YouTube. We'll have
Yeah,
to. I'll
I'm
have to follow you on
I think
YouTube.
848 subscribers now. I'm trying to get to 1,000 by end of the
Nice.
year. So yeah,
All right, everybody. You know the deal. You know how we do. He's over there on YouTube. Make sure you go over and check him out and
yeah,
subscribe and learn about the falconry. It's very interesting. I love watching because I found you on TikTok, and I love when your videos pop up and watching what you're doing because
I appreciate you. I appreciate.
it's different. It's different. It's not something that you see every day. So congratulations for that.
Thank you,
Keep doing
thank you.
what you're doing, and you're still young yet. So
Yeah,
you got lots of time, and I can see you in the future. Got Wild Mo's falconry
yeah, but I
school,
appreciate
and
you.
you teaching everybody to do
Yes,
do
sir.
what
Yes,
you're
sir.
doing. That's awesome.
Yes,
That's awesome.
sir.
And you said that you had obviously you had to have a mentor. Are there other people in your area?
There's a lot of us. We're not really close together, but there's a lot of us out here in Maryland. Yes.
Okay, good, good. Absolutely, Nick. Thank you for joining this interesting show. Very interesting. I'm very intrigued by the bird that you have. I love the white bird. That's
Yeah.
an awesome bird.
That's like I said, she was the most difficult bird I've ever trained, but I did it. So.
I'm sorry, I got to say one thing.
Oh,
Nick says birds aren't real. Just so you know, this man right here says birds aren't real.
Birds
wait.
are
When did he say that? What, Nick?
He been said that. That's one of his things. He wants to. He says that's what he wants to do with conspiracy theories. He wants to come to the conspiracy theory
birds are
show.
real. Birds are real.
So I'm out.
Wait a minute, Nick. We're gonna have to talk. How is a bird not real? Please explain, because I see them. I see them. They in my backyard. Birds aren't real. Hey, Bosa. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. You catching the end of the show. You're gonna have to, do that replay gang deal and
Hmm.
leave a comment. Yes, you were called out. You were called out. Yes. Government drones. They ain't got this many drones. I am so sorry, Nick. You're funny. You're funny. That is funny. I like that. Government drones. I don't think I've heard that before. That is awesome. And if you haven't done so already, because I'm watching on my channel, I only see 2 likes. One of them was mine, and the other one was my sister Kelly. Y'all better slip over to my channel and,
Follow
and
Uptown
put some
Spice.
likes up there.
Yep.
And the like count better be good here too. How we doing on the like count here on this channel? I hope we're good. If you haven't done so already, please hit that like button. They always hang out on power lines to recharge their batteries. You know what, Nick? You're a clown.
That's funny.
You're a clown. I've never seen. Actually, no, I can't say that. I was going to say I've never seen a hawk. No, I've never seen a hawk on a power line. I've seen a hawk on a pole,
Yeah. They're
but
on
not.
power lines occasionally, like not always, but you'll see them on there sometimes.
I've never seen a turkey vulture on a power line. They're too big.
But yeah, they are big. A turkey buzzard, they usually stay on poles.
Yeah. See, Nick, no, we're not buying it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But Mo, thank you for joining us. Certainly
No
appreciate
worries.
having you on today, and appreciate the education,
No worries.
because it's I've learned a lot. I've
Yeah.
learned a lot, and now I'm going to look for some falconry events around here, because
Yep.
there has to be something.
Yeah, there are. There's like a couple Falcons, Pennsylvania.
And if not, I'm going to come down to Maryland and see you, and you can take me somewhere and
Okay.
show
No
me something.
worries. It's not complaining to me. Preach us.
Yes,
Thank y'all for having me. Thank y'all for having me.
absolutely, absolutely. Folks are sneaking in. I see Dustin. Hey, Dustin. And no busters allowed. Go to my channel. You know the channel, Uptown_Exotics. You know where to find me. You know where I am. Dustin, thank you for being here. Anybody that is either coming in late, or if you're watching the replay, make sure you hit that hashtag replay gang. Leave a comment, leave some whiskey bombs. We all appreciate that. We appreciate the interaction. And again, Mo, can you let them know where to find you? Because again, you're on YouTube and we're here on YouTube. So everybody should
So
be
if you
heading over to
check
YouTube.
out my YouTube channel, Wild Mo PG Falconer, PNG all caps. Instagram, DMV_Falconry Experience, and TikTok is Wild Mo Jang, DIENG. And yeah, like I said, thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate you guys.
Yes, sir. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you, and appreciate everybody in the chat. And if there's any lurkers, I do appreciate you. Make sure you hit that like button though, and I'll appreciate you even more. But thank you for joining us today. Much love to everybody. And next week we have Derek's Reptiles, another keeper that I found on TikTok. So make sure you tune in for that. And then we're a couple of weeks away from my birthday surprise. I am so excited about my birthday show. Y'all are going to be excited too, because it's somebody we haven't seen in a while. It's somebody we all know and love. So make sure October 26th, that is my birthday. So I'm expecting gifts too. So I'm just so you know. Just so you know. But the birthday surprise is going to be a great episode, going to be a lot of fun, going to be a lot of laughs. I can guarantee that. Um, what'd you say? I guarantee. No, that was a he was a I guarantee. He was a cook or something, Justin something. I mean, somebody else might have used that. Yes, yes. I'm not judging. um, but again, everybody, thank you for being here. Mo, don't go anywhere. Stay right there.
Okay.
Everybody, remember to be yourself. Believe in who you are. If you don't believe in yourself, why should anyone else? I love you. Have an awesome week. Peace and be wild.
Dearly beloved, we are here to talk about this thing called keepers. Keeper means forever, and forever is a mighty long time.